From the Starknet and Eternum realms, gather round the town square now. Hear the echoes of the vow. Noble hearts and spirits high, underneath the evening sky. Nights in armor shining bright, rogues who vanish into night. Noble hearts and spirits high, underneath the evening sky. Nights in armor shining bright, rogues who vanish into night. Fair and soldiers bold, stories of the brave retold. Star rises from the mist, legends born with every twist. Peasants cheer and nobles toast to the tales they love the most. Banners wave, the town bell sings, cunning plans for kings and queens. Jesters bring their jolly cheer as the stars start to appear. By the fire's warmth we seek, in the strong and in the meek. Every role we shall play, till the breaking of the day. Star rises from the mist, legends born with every twist. Peasants cheer and nobles toast to the tales they love the most. From the Starknet and Eternum realms, gather round the town square now. Hear the echoes of the vow. Noble hearts and spirits high, underneath the evening sky. Nights in armor shining bright, rogues who vanish into night. Noble hearts and spirits high, underneath the evening sky. Nights in armor shining bright, rogues who vanish into night. Fair and soldiers bold, stories of the brave retold. Star rises from the mist, legends born with every twist. Peasants cheer and nobles toast to the tales they love the most. Banners wave, the town bell sings, cunning plans for kings and queens. Jesters bring their jolly cheer as the stars start to appear. By the fire's warmth we seek, in the strong and in the meek. born with every twist. Peasants cheer and nobles toast to the tales they love the most. Banners wave, the town bell sings, cunning plans for kings and queens. Jesters bring their jolly cheer as the stars start to appear. By the fire's warmth we seek, in the strong and in the meek. Every role we shall play till the breaking of the day. Star rises from the mist, legends born with every twist. Peasants cheer and nobles toast to the tales they love the most. From the Starknet and Eternum realms, gather round the town square now. Hear the echoes of the vow. Noble hearts and spirits high underneath the evening sky. Knights in armor shining bright, rogues who vanish into night. Noble hearts and spirits high underneath the evening sky. Knights in armor shining bright, rogues who vanish into night. Fair and soldiers bold, stories of the brave retold. Star rises from the mist, legends born with every twist. Peasants
Bellatores Eternum, vivunt in gloria. Hello, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm just improvising here, so it won't be perfect. But, better than nothing. How are you guys?
That
I
was
also
beautiful.
didn't introduce you, but actually, let me stop this and let me remove you from the stage. So first of all, guys, welcome to this special edition of the Star Cafe, where we are celebrating the launch of Eternum, and the game has been live for a couple of days. With a bumpy start with some bugs, but it's getting better and better. And the game is so clean. We are gonna dive deep into it. We'll have a demo. We'll talk about that, about the tribes and everything. And I'm also very happy to announce two special guests, two special lords. And together with them, we are going to talk about the game, about their comments on the first days of Eternum, and also how to play the game. We'll ask them for some questions. And at the same time, we are also giving away like 5 realms. And in order to win them, you will have to write a sort of poem or song using AI. Of course, you can do that, but at least use a prompt where you feature some parts of Eternum, and we are going to reward the best poems after we sing them, or like we show them in the live, and we're going to reward the best ones with our realm. And yeah, so having said that, let's introduce my guests. Let me first of all, we need to choose the right announcement tune. I'm gonna start with a very active contributor in the Rams world, and is also known for somebody who is very bullish on friendship. And I'm talking about my friend Kakuta. So let's introduce him how he deserves. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Beautiful. Hello, I'm good, thank you. I'm better now after I've never had an intro with such musical flavor. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'm glad you like it. Just like we are improvising a lot, but yeah, we're gonna have fun this evening. This is the goal of this live, and yeah. So let's introduce the other guest. He's also a very active contributor in the Rams autonomous world ecosystem. Is considered one of the best medieval comedians in town, and I'm talking about my friend Camberlord. Sorry.
Good morning, fellow lords! It is I, Lord Cumberlord.
Welcome to the live, Lord Camberlord. Let me see if there are any comments. Guys, I want you to write some comments. Let us know you're there. There are like 15 lords listening to us.
Oh, let's go.
So yeah, let me read.
Greatest of gratitudes to you, Lord Nurstar, and humble greeting as always to you, Lord Calculator.
Good day,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Good day, Lord.
So guys, let's start with your first impressions about the launch of the game. Then we'll also have an introduction about the game. Maybe I'll ask Kakutat to sum up what the game is about, what's Eternum in a few words, and then we are gonna share also the screen to have a look at the game. And I'll ask you for some questions about Eternum, and let's see also if some questions from the audience come. And yeah, so what are your first impressions about these 2 days?
So the launch. Yeah, so I mean it's been good and bad. So essentially we broke the game because we had way more people than we expected. So although the game did break and it is up now, it's working fine. The devs have done like an unbelievable job scaling all the infrastructure in like 2 straight days, which is unbelievable, and props to literally all of them. Like 2 straight days, no sleep, like 20 people pretty much between Cartridge and the Realms Eternum team. Like, unbelievable job by them, like rebuilding the entire front end infrastructure. So yeah, I mean, it's went bad, but also like I'm not going to complain that we have too many people playing the game. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah, it's good.
Very good.
I'm feeling good.
What about you, Cam?
Especially as it's working.
Yeah.
Well, when a game that's not working can still keep you up until 6 o'clock in the morning, it's probably a sign that that there's something addictive about it. In fact, this morning, I don't even know if I can say this actually. No, the game. I think the game is really wonderful. These periods of when these guys have managed to get it playing and get it fixed, it runs so smoothly. It's such a beautiful experience, and the collaborative nature of it all, getting together into these tribes, and like Kalk said, huge props to the devs. We're sort of lucky enough to get to sit in sometimes into the dev channels, and I was describing it yesterday to someone. It's like sitting in the control room of like a rocket launch, and just hearing like stuff that I have absolutely no idea what anyone's talking about, and just picking like bits of it, and just it's the level of focus. Oh, sorry, I've just got to pause my Obsidian production. I'll be right back.
I wonder how many hours you're sleeping, man, because you're always on the Discord channel of the Fog Boys, and we are all members of, I guess, also Calcutta. And yeah, so I was wondering like how many hours is he sleeping, because it said like as soon as I would wake up, it was like I usually wake up like at 5, 6, and your last online session was like at 4, 4:30, and then you're back like at 9 or 8:30, and I said this guy has just left a couple of hours and he's back grinding at the game. Or like just talking about strategies, stuff like that, if the game when the game wasn't working properly. But
for me, it's quite like I was able to pull myself away from it on the first day, when I knew that like it was amazing to see how many people kind of loaded in and spawned in that first day. Literally, I think 1,000 realms were spawned in the first 10-15 minutes, and it was just a complete sort of like ball out of left field. So it was amazing, and actually yeah, for me, I was able to sort of walk away from it on that day and say, okay, keep like build up your resources and a little bit of rest, because, and lo and behold, by the second day, I was literally 5:30 this morning that I went to bed, and woke up at 9 because I had my alarm set for certain resources that we're going to need. We're going to need pausing and stuff. So yeah, it's addictive.
Very good. So let's say GM to our friends who are listening. There is Sister Spaghetti here. GM Spaghetti, hey, how are you doing? Also a member of the Fog tribe. GM brother Alpha, GM guys, and yeah. So yeah, also I would like to say some impressions that I had during these days. Obviously, the first hours were very chaotic when the game just freezed a bit, and it was like the homepage was loading forever, and it would take a very long time to get into the game. But as you know, as the day progressed, also things improved, and I had a look also like at the structure of the game. Obviously, it's normal also to compare it to other similar games like Age of Empire, games that I played with years and years ago, and the structure is very interesting, also very unique as well. And then there's also this on-chain particle element that suits crypto natives very well. And yeah, so maybe Kakutat, for those who don't know the game very well, who are listening about Eternum for the first time, would you sum up what Eternum is? And at the same time, I'm gonna share the documents, the docs of the homepage.
Yeah, so I think it's very simply put, it's a massively multiplayer on-chain game, very similar to, as you already noted, like Civilization style strategy games. It's a very heavy strategy game, essentially, between thousands of people, all at once, all with immutable contracts and like a level of like trust there. So you once the game starts, everyone starts on the same field, and it goes, and it will go with or without the developers. And as it goes, you're battling to accrue points. Once you get enough points, you call a function on chain, and then you win a prize pot that's pulled in through fees within the game. So it's created as like a very sustainable structure where people have to use lords to be able to play and like get create resources within the game, but also to win, you've just got to beat everyone else. So it's play to earn, but it's sustainable play to earn versus infinite inflating token Ponzi. Everyone puts in funds, little bits are taken out, and then someone wins the pot. It's a fully trusted, sustainable game, which I'm pretty hyped about. To summarize,
Yeah, very good. It's a very good summary. And we could also remind that when the game spawned, when the game began, there was also the generation of 28 ERC20 tokens connected to the game, right? We're talking about the resources. Yep. So each resource is a token. Am I right?
Yeah, correct. So there's 28 different, there's 22 resources, one donkey, and then your troops. And because this is a fully on-chain game, and when I say fully on-chain game, I mean every single thing that you are looking on screen right now is in some way noted on-chain through the game state being like on-chain, or your movements being on-chain, or the assets being actual assets, which is to this scale never been done before ever. Just to make that clear, like this is a heavy lift of a game to be able to create. But the 28 tokens are all the different things you can trade in game. So although you are essentially locked in to move your resources around, there's these structures called banks. I think people might have heard of a bank before. And if you take your resources to the bank, you can bridge them out of the game. So there's still physics within the world where you're trading around your resources and you're moving them around, and you can't move faster than like light speed. You can't just teleport stuff around the map. But once you get your resources to a bank, you can then take them out of the game, and then they're on the blockchain like fully. And you can do whatever you want with them. You can trade them, you can burn them, you can sell them, do whatever you want, assuming someone wants to buy them, of course. But yeah, that's the whole point of this. It's a fully on-chain game where you are the true owner of literally everything. Be the assets, be the actual state of the game. Like, you can trust the entire game is going to run this way. Whether the devs could turn off the servers, but the game is still going to run. And if someone really, really wanted to, they could go into the contracts and call the functions and like call end game. You know what I mean? Even without the devs. Okay, we're not maybe at the point where there's enough clients to be able to just turn off the servers, but like, we're getting that. And as you're saying, this is season 0, so it's there's been some hiccups, but yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So far, so good. I'm also very excited. I'm having a great time. I've already upgraded to a city. I bought some resources, also using some lords, and also with the help of Cumberlord and the other members of the Folk Boys tribe. I'm progressing in the game. And I'm like I wanted to say also that the onboarding experience is pretty good through the cartridge controller. Let's spend some words on that. And so the cartridge controller is a wallet that that leverages account abstraction and the game sessions, right? And it is very smooth. So you simply you can create a controller in a very easy way. And then you would also use your mobile phone as a sort of validator to validate the transactions, as an authenticator, right? And I really like the cartridge experience. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, and I am definitely biased, but I think the cartridge controller is, if it's not already, it's going to be the best UX game controller. especially connected to crypto, like in the world. Like with session keys and as you already noted, account abstraction, you pretty much you're gonna all you're gonna have to do is scan, I don't know, your face if you got Face ID, whatever it may be, or your fingerprint, or use your Google Cloud session keys, passkeys. Log in within half an instant. It will pick up all your information, and then you just play the game. Like it's the user onboarding flow is like world class. And then once you get in the game, you essentially pre-sign a set of approvals, and then the controller can act and play the game. And then all you have to do is like you scan your little form or whatever, you press approve, and then you just play a game like a Web 2 experience. And if anyone's listening to this like and doubts it, like literally just try and play Eternum. I will send you a season pass. Like I promise you I will. Literally just try it. Once you've approved, you will not notice that you're playing a crypto game. But then for me, which was kind of crazy because we've been trying to, like, this has been the vision for like 3 years, is midway through playing the game, I completely forgot that this was like, wait a second, this is a fully on-chain crypto game where like all assets are meaningful and they all have some type of relative value. And I'm playing it like I would like StarCraft or something, which sounds insane. And if you've seen this like 2 years ago, everyone's brains would have just imploded, and I still think they should today. But yeah, bigger
crazy
cartridge.
Yeah. That's
it's
cool.
so well put, Calc, and I can speak to it as well. Oh wait, hang on a second.
Yeah, sorry, no worry.
No, I just make sure we hear that out. I can speak to it from the perspective of non-crypto natives as well, because I was recently out in Nashville celebrating the launch of Blob Arena who partnered with the Armored MMA, and they also have the cartridge controller implemented, and we were able to onboard hundreds of people at their event using the cartridge controller without even telling 90% of them that it was a crypto game at all. We just had the QR code there. We scan the QR code into the game, put a name in there, and use your passkeys, and then they were playing the game instantly through that. So the fact that we could do that without most of them even knowing, and not only a crypto game but a fully on-chain game, like to Calc's point, I mean, it's really sort of next generation experience, and amazing where we're at now, and what this means for fully on-chain games in the future.
Yeah, that looks very, very promising. And yeah, I guess you had a great time in Nashville. Also, we
Shout
I
out
also want
Armored
to thank yeah,
Just the tip.
Rob Arena, right? I also want to thank Rob Arena to be one of the sponsors of this live. They gave us some passes, some realms to give away. Actually, there's nobody sending us songs or poems, so maybe we are gonna choose somebody from the audience. We're gonna find a way and to give them away. And let me show them. Where do I have it?
I was staring quite intently at the map there for two reasons. One, I noticed yesterday that it really reminds me of that picture that you see from above Burning Man, where the city sort of it just develops in the desert for that short period of time, and the way that the realm spawned like that and has these alleyways through it and stuff. It's like a much more terrifying place, but sort of is reminiscent of that. But also, what I hadn't noticed is I haven't been paying attention to the center of the map, and that's where the bank is. It looks like there might be some people making a play for the bank, so we better speed this thing along, eh?
So what's the role of the bank in the game, Camberlo? What's the role of the bank in the game?
Actually, my style of play sort of emits the bank a lot. I'm sort of a populist socialist leader. So within my tribe, we do a huge amount of just put up a sell order at a super low price and transfer it in amongst at a price that nobody else would possibly sell it to them for, and transfer it in amongst our ranks. I think that this season is particularly the dynamics are a little bit different because there is a prize pool that is external to the actual lords that are sort of like internalized within the game. There's sort of a little bit of like different ways that people might go about playing the game. So for that reason, like even if I lose lords playing the game, I might therefore win off the back of the prize pool in this. Calc, I think, would be better positioned to describe exactly the sort of the more technical aspect or side of how the bank works and its role. I'm not even good with like IRL banks and what they really mean, so probably leave it to Calc.
I think maybe just the best way to put it is it's like the heart of the game. It's straight, as you can see, it's straight in the middle of the map. It's when those like little free pincer movements are going on. It's like straight in the middle of the map. And essentially it's where the AMM and order, sorry, the order book isn't there. The AMM is based. So this is the cool thing about the game being on chain is you can actually have a physical location to these contracts, essentially. So the AMM, although it is a literal, fully on-chain AMM, just like a Uniswap, it actually has a physical location in game, right? And that's the bank. But the cool thing about that is that because it's got a physical location and it's like an object in the game, it means people, as you can see, Lord KB is trying to do, is take over the bank and own the AMM. Which, I mean, when the heck else can you do that? Because this is a real AMM. So yeah, people will fight over stealing a bank because then they'll get all the fees that the bank has accrued, and the bank takes a hefty ass fee. So when you're playing the game, there's essentially, once it starts, everyone will trade resources out of the bank to, at the start to like get the flywheel going, and the bank will get a ton of fees. So over the first couple of days, essentially the biggest bounty is taking the bank because it's got tons and tons of fees in there, and also when you own it, when people can still trade in that AMM, and people can still LP and whatever, but it'll still be accruing fees. So as you own whoever owns the bank will just accrue fees in perpetuity as long as they own it, which is again another insane feature that you can only get in on-chain games. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So, guys, for those listening and also like watching us, the bank is this White House here, and as you can see, it is being owned by KB, right? And so all the realms are managed by people, or are there also some AI agents?
So in this first season, there's no AI agents that people. There's no AI agents playing the game. But for the next one, or maybe the one after, possibly, there will be AI agents playing with season passes fully autonomously in the game. The only reason there isn't currently is because we wanted to get the game out now, essentially, but essentially give Loaf a few more weeks. And it's done,
sense.
put it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, next season for sure, 100%.
Okay, that's great. So, Camberlor, maybe you could guide us through the game a bit. Also, about the most important components and tools of the game. I don't know if you feel like it.
Sure, yeah, I can try. I would say that in my experience, one of the most important components is becoming the leader of a tribe, or at least being a part of a tribe. More like not only for the fun of the game, for being able to piggyback off more experienced players in games like this, or also who have been in the ecosystem for longer, but also, as I said, being able to create trades and agreements and strategize and do all of this sort of real wartime planning in a way which for me has just been like an insane experience. And it's definitely, for me as somebody who's like not so familiar with playing games like this but can play 14 hours a day of it, it's like a real sort of learning curve experience. So I was able to negotiate with the whale to get a significant number of passes, which are realms, which I've been then distributing to our members of the Fock Boys. and then also to have like a number of those myself. And my instinct was, okay, go for all the most rare resources, etc. They'll be the ones that will be the most valuable, etc. And not really having a strategy in play about like the fact that the game happens in stages. There really is like a early game, mid game, late game. And so I immediately put up a few realms and started making ignium, producing ignium and a deep crystal, these really rare resources which are needed in the mid and late stage game to be able to get your victory points. But until you've sort of expanded your realm and put more workers' huts so that you can increase production, and put storehouses so that you can increase the number of resources that you can store in your realms, you're not able to sort of even get to a stage at which you can have a really tight and wide flowing production resource production line going. So yeah, I guess if I try to start at the beginning, or where you are now, this is your realm, right? So we're currently in Sokopa, and if you want to try and say all 8,000 odd of the names in realms, that would be maybe another definitely a comedy episode. But you start in here, and you very successfully have managed to upgrade your original realm into a city. So when you first arrived, it was the central hex with 6 hexes around it, all of which you can build on, and you land in the game. There are quests that take you through the first initial stages, which teach you, or encourage you, okay, go get yourself a farm and some wheat, which are, fish and wheat are absolutely essential items to the production of everything, as well as to your army's movements, etc. They need feeding to keep their stamina up and keep them going. So it'll do that, and then it takes you through other quests, such as how to build an army, how to build your first other resource building. And you'll see here, actually, if you go to the buildings,
buildings. No worries.
Yeah, sure. Here, and click on resources. Then you can see that each realm basically has a different combination of resources. So some might only have one, so these would be some of the more common realms. And then some might have, I think, up to 7 might be the maximum that exist on a single realm. And whatever resources exist, I guess, within the ground beneath your realm are what you can mine and produce, and then become part of your production chain. Now, each resource itself to produce. So if you hover over the eye there on ironwood, for example, if I build an ironwood building, the little eye in the bottom right corner of it, the yellow one.
Here, this one.
No, over the just as you were.
Okay.
Before, you see in the bottom right of the image of ironwood, there's a little yellow eye. Sure. So when you hover over it, then maybe we're slightly too zoomed in. It will tell you what resources it consumes in order for you to have to produce that. So at that stage, it starts to become really complex. It's like, oh, great, I'm going to produce some ironwood. Oh, shit, I need stone and I need coal, and I don't have that on this realm. I do have another realm that has coal. So I'm going to produce the coal there to send over here. But coal needs wood and stone to produce it. And shit, I don't have that there. So to actually be able to develop your resource production involves a lot of work if you're managing it over 14 realms or 20 realms. Wow. Or whatever ludicrous amount some people decide to try and play. You need to, establish diplomacy and work together with your tribes people to be able to do that. Alternatively, there are ways to play the game where somebody like, for example, Dark Lord Grug, who has some great wonder realms, and wonders are where you can produce donkeys, which if the bank is the heart, then I guess donkeys are the capillaries and the blood vessels of the game. Grog has decided, I don't have that much time, but I'm just going to sit on my 5 realms and just produce a shit ton of donkeys and dominate the donkey market. And donkeys sell at a kind of a premium. So Grog could end up walking away from this game without really doing any of this slog and going into battle and fighting and having wars, long wars of attrition with people. Grog can just sit comfy with his feet up, drinking a limoncello and producing donkeys, and might walk out of the game with, many thousands of lords just from being a donkey merchant. So there's sort of like
Focusing
many
on business,
metas by
yeah.
which So there are many metas through which the game can be played, and we're sort of seeing that unravel or unveil itself among, we've got some very, very competitive guilds playing this game. And then you've got like loud people like me who have managed to put together a guild at the last minute, and everyone sort of has their different strengths, and are choosing to play the game in different ways. And to Calc's point, once this game is launched, actually we don't know what the outcomes are going to be, how people are going to play the game, what's going to be, we don't know it, let alone the winner, what's going to be like an interesting dynamic that's going to evolve in the game, which nobody thought about. One thing we could say, which was started off chain, was Lord Crumpy, who is a very very good player, has been around realms, I think, from very early, and was a very strong player in the preseason. He decided to denounce his allegiance to any tribe before the season started, and to start an auction for his mercenary services. So in the week before the game had even started, I was making deals with other tribe leaders to get, to put our money into a pool to get his services so that we could all destroy our common enemy, Wast, and Overmillion. And make sure that we put an end to his tyrannical reign for the rest of all time. And
where does this rivalry with Wast come from?
Comedic thin air, to be honest. It was, and then I don't know. I'm starting to understand myself.
You need enemies in life, yeah.
Yeah. I've started to understand myself as a little bit of the prince of the side quest. So somehow, what started as a joke has become like the most important thing in my life for the next 3 weeks. So yeah, it was, we talked about making a video to try and grab the attention of Ansem, and in that, just in my script writing, it was to put a call out. It made it obvious we need a villain, we need an enemy, and thankfully, Overmillion has stepped up to the plate as a very worthy villain. And it's great to see these rivalries sort of shape the narrative and create such deep lore weeks before the game had even begun. So yeah, excited and not even slightly anxious about what's to come.
Yeah, just to add on that too, like it's been really inspiring seeing like all the off-chain communications in this, although this is a fully on-chain game and all that. Like it really just does show that the heart of all this stuff is the people. Like we wanted to see like what actual guilds were playing so they could communicate and produce these things called naps, which we've added, which are non-aggression packs, which just means we're not going to fight or people have alliances. So I literally just lobbed up a spreadsheet the other day, and then before you know it, you've got like 20 different guilds in there all agreeing to like their non-aggression packs, and then they're going, oh well, this guy's got this, so I'm going to go off and I'm going to form an alliance with them. And this is all just happening totally organically by the community. Like there's literally no gatekeeping it. It's literally just people who like want to play the game. They're going to battle it out. And like, yeah, it's so awesome. And then also, so we obviously had the issue where the game melted because it was too popular for a day or two. And then because how the game starts is you settle your realm and then you have 24 hours to you get immunity. So no one can kill you for 24 hours. No one can raid your realm or take your realm. But after that, it's free for all, right? And everyone's used to knows that criteria. So once we knew the game was about to go live about an hour or two before, live again, I guess. I think it was over. A couple people were like, "Why don't we just like make this immunity period by just social consensus?" So we had literally just put in Discord, tagged everyone on the guilds, and then just everyone immediately went, "Okay, yeah, I agree. Let's just not attack for the 24 hours." And then lo and behold, for the first 24 hours, literally no one's attacked one another, although they fully could. So it's just been really, really cool just seeing how like these naps and like alliances are playing out just totally off chain, just through like social coordination. It's been really, really cool. But yeah.
I think that there were some exceptions though. I think somebody
Yeah.
engaged in battles with bandits as well,
Yep.
who are like players, right? Because at first I thought, well, there are these battles against bandits because maybe they are AI agents, but it wasn't the case.
No, not in that case. I mean, there's always going to be some, but like the main, like
Sure.
top 20 guilds and the massive amount of people, all did it, which is so awesome to see. And I mean, I think it even adds a bit more spice than there's a few people just like going out their way to be like, I'm gonna fuck these guys up anyway, and then anyone can just attack them because no one cares. So it's like you broke the rules. Okay, you can you're up for fighting and enjoy.
That's one of the
That's
great things about this is like, you know, there's quite a few people, and myself, I felt it, you know, thinking, oh, you know, some people, there was this sense that like some people had sort of like got stuck in the world and some of us were stuck outside of the world during this thing, which I found really like almost a bit like interstellar, like it was quite weird for me to get my head around that. But then some of the people were able to make like a little bit of progression. Some people were a little bit worried about how much they could advance in the game. But the way that this game is built is like, well, if they are, then it's up to us to form alliances to go and fuck them up and scumper their plans, and we have to adjust so like that this somehow these artifacts of the game and its inception and its strength become part of the history books and of how it went. And so the victory of this season will be all that much more historic, you know, of somebody coming through all of that in the beginning and becoming the victor in that way.
great. And yeah, I also have like a question about the prize pool, which is around 1 million lords, which is about 200K, if I remember well. How does this prize pool get allocated, and how can people win these rewards?
So there's a few different ways. So I think there's three or four. So the first one is based on points. So you accrue points by owning hyperstructures and the mines. So people accrue points through playing the game and beating people, etc., etc. And then the people with the top points will get a bigger chunk of that prize pool. I believe it's the top 10 or 10 to 50 players. I can get the exact numbers up if you want. But yeah, so it's that. And then also through cartridge controller achievements. So if you press on the top right of your screen, you can see the little cartridge controller and you should be able to see the achievements in there somewhere.
Yeah, it must be
It's
here
somewhere around here.
in the support, I believe, no?
But yeah,
No, okay, in the trophies, yeah.
there you go. Sorry. But yeah, there you go. So there's also going to be a distribution of those 1 million lords, a portion of them, through the controller achievements. So I would recommend doing all of them if you can. The exact distribution will be decided at a later date. But yeah. And there's also creator incentives in there. I would join the Eternum and Mysteries Telegram group. I can put a group a message in the chat with the link to it. But essentially, go out on Twitter, tweet out stuff, talk about your experience. Doesn't have to be good or bad. It can be whatever you want. Just be in a mystery and talk about the game, talk about realms, talk about it all, and you'll be up for earning some lots too.
Awesome. And yeah, so you were mentioning that up to a couple of hours ago, there was a truce. And unfortunately, I have some internet connection, maybe, because anyway, you mentioned that there was this peace until a couple of hours ago. And have you already seen, maybe for Camberlord, this one, have you already seen some battles in action? And also, how do you see the situations in terms of tribe, which is the tribe which is performing in the best way so far?
Funnily enough, Lord Nurstar, the pact ended the moment this call started. So I'm hoping that my enemies are not watching this whilst closing in on my realms. I think this opening period, it'll be interesting to see who's making moves. I'm sure that some people have more of an overview of exactly what the tactics of the other tribes have been in the early game, but knowing that many have had, some hundreds of realms and being very organized, it's very likely that there are some very big, nasty armies somewhere on the map. And what the tactics of those will be, whether that'll be defensive so that they can, just sort of go hell for leather on the resource production, or whether that'll be more of an aggressive tact. I know that there will be, a few tribes that will be very competitive, and at some point, I think they will have no choice but to attack each other to try and slow down and drain some of the resources. Whether that's going to happen immediately today, I'm not sure. I think it's.
I see that we were overtaken by West. Look
in what
in the leaderboard.
How I actually don't know what this leaderboard what determines this leaderboard. I can't figure out which.
There's like rams, the number of rams, the number
It's,
of mines, the number of hyper.
It's currently lords.
But it's the number of lords that they would get if they win.
Oh yeah,
if they stay in this position.
It's
that looks like
no
that.
idea.
I don't think that this is currently particularly meaningful. There's no obvious structure to what those numbers are. So I'm not looking or worried about that just yet. But yeah, there are a number of alliances that have been negotiated between tribes. There is certainly one common evil enemy, which a lot of us would like to see go down quickly. So it'll be interesting to see who's up for that challenge and who sort of takes the aggression to the other teams. I feel at some point, somebody will just decide. Also, whilst there are non-aggression pacts between lots of different tribes, for sure, like with any game, some people will be more casual, some people will probably drop off. So even though there are non-aggression pacts, there will be a point at which it will make sense to raid and take over realms of non-contributing players for the resources to be then useful in further battles and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's at this early stage, like a few days in, it's everything to play for. It's very exciting.
And I also see this empty space between the central area where the bank is and the rest of the world, let's say. And is that space like full of resources? Of mines? And I mean, people couldn't spawn up realms there, right? In this tribe here.
Yeah, I don't know actually like the sort of equation or the mathematics or what went into the decision making of creating that gap. I guess like visually and just from the excitement, it almost creates like a little bit of a Colosseum arena and gives some space for people to come in and have this war of all wars in and around the bank. Which again, to what extent the bank will be fought over heavily will depend on how people are using the AMM. If it becomes very lucrative, then I'm sure we'll see many tribes will make a play for it. So it definitely points all the attention into that central focal area, but then also maybe distracts a little bit from what's happening in the outside as well. So yeah.
And these yellow shields represent that there is a battle ongoing, right?
I think the yellow shield is actually the wonders that have spawned.
Ah, okay. I see.
Is that? Do you know, Calc?
Well, let me. You're making me question myself. Let me check my one now. Now I'm questioning myself.
Oh, you've got a wonder. Interesting.
No, definitely don't. Don't know what you're on about. No, it's a ball. Yeah, it's a ball.
It's a ball.
I was going to say,
it's a ball.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I was like, wait a second.
Okay, that's on a mind for now. Okay, very well.
Is this yours? No. This is
Where are we
Lord
right now?
KB.
And Balthazar, I can see his little ship up there. Balthazar is one to watch. Balthazar was my mortal enemy in the last season, but he's an
Was he?
incredibly quiet, sneaky lord. So I'm definitely not writing him off. Although for now he's pitching himself as a peaceful tribe. Don't be fooled by his quietness.
There is
So you're
nothing
warned,
peaceful about
Balthazar.
Balthazar.
Balthazar, you're warned. Very cool. So speaking about resources, which are the resources that you think played the most important role in the game? We mentioned the donkeys. Why are donkeys so important?
Do you want to answer that one? I think
don't-
you have
I
a
don't-
better grasp.
Don't mind. Donkeys are important because to transport donkeys are the means of transport for all the resources. So in order for me to transport my gold, my rubies, my wood, etc., I have to transport them across the distance of the map between two realms, or between myself and the AMM, or between the other person that I choose to trade with. And the number of donkeys that it takes to transport that amount of material, that amount of resources, based on kilograms. So there's some genuine physics here. Now, the production of donkeys is not cheap. So encouraging people to actually have to think about how you're using your donkeys. And they're the only resource which actually it costs lords to produce. And maybe Kalk wants to touch in on it here, but this creates, interestingly, a deflationary mechanism within the token, because these, as I understand it, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, these lords that are used to produce donkeys will end up being burnt, as I understand it. So
Yeah.
why, one of the reasons why they're really very interesting. Unless, do you want to say anything else on that, Kalk?
No, there's a meme we created where it's a donkey 1559. If anyone knows the IP 1559, that's what we
because you
we
burned
toasted
them,
it.
right? It is, yeah.
Exactly. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, no worries. It makes I love this. Yeah. So for those who don't know, EIP, what was the number? Sorry, 15?
1559.
1559.
1559.
1559 was the EIP that introduced the burning of some of the Ethereum gas fees, and obviously that has the potential to make Ethereum deflationary, even if for some limited amount of time, especially when there is a lot of congestion, right? A lot of demand in the L1. And very nice comparison with donkeys. And so in fact, like I noticed that donkeys are one of the most expensive resources in Eternum, right? For example, in order to buy 100 donkeys, you need almost four lords, and on average, how are the donkeys calculated every time you need to for example, let's say I'm gonna buy 10,000 stones, and I'm gonna here click on swap, and here it says that donkeys burned for transfer are gonna be 20. I noticed also that there are some there's a legend here about the kilograms per unit, so each resource has a different weight, right? And I guess based on that, the donkeys are calculated for each transport. How does it work?
Absolutely
like
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's the cool thing about having digital physics. You can have these fun interactions in game where, like, if you want to move your stuff around, you actually have to do something, or burn something, I guess. Use energy, and as I say, I think the best comparison of donkeys is like it's the lifeblood of the game. and it flows through like logically in the game as you need to burn donkeys and you need to use that energy to be able to like move your stuff around. And then again, that's the cool. Like this is the really cool thing about this being on chain is that you can have these actual like values and like physics within the game which are like absolutes, and then the game plays out as such. It's
And as I'm playing the game, I noticed that at this early stage of Eternum, there are some resources that are barely needed, such as like these ones in the bottom, Dragonite. I don't know like the complete name here, like Dragonite, something
Dragonhide.
like that.
Dragonhide.
Right?
Yeah.
Dragonite. Okay, Mithril, Adamant. Let me see.
Adamantine, alchemical silver, twilight crystal, true ice, ethereal silica, ignium, deep crystal, etc., etc.
Ruby, sapphire, diamonds, hardwood. So these are not very needed at this stage of the game. When will they be needed, Cumberlo?
At the stage at which people start to build hyperstructures. So the phase of the game that we're currently in is sort of start your resource chain, expand your realm, establish your tribe, and explore the map. And exploring the map, you'll discover fragment mines where you can find ancient fragments. And a certain number of ancient fragments are needed in order to establish the building of a hyperstructure. And hyperstructures are what's needed to give victory points, which eventually someone with the correct amount of victory points will be able to end the game. So the hyperstructure requires a certain amount of all of those resources. So once we get into that next phase, that's whereby the production of those more complex or rarer resources will come into play.
Very interesting. Thanks a lot for the clarification. And
I've never got to that stage yet, by the way, so I'm really excited to actually get to that on the next one. I did something really stupid.
I guess nobody has built an hyperstructure yet.
Not in this season. That again, that's something really interesting. Like, what are the tactics going on behind the scenes now? To wonder how quickly, like, how many resources has somebody started stockpiling? How well organized really are some of these tribes? And how quickly will a hyperstructure go up and be completed off the back of that? It's it's a very ripe moment in the game now.
So you're also saying that in order to keep an hyperstructure in good health, you need the collaboration of all the tribe, right?
Yeah, well, interestingly, as I understand it, I can also contribute to the building of a competing tribe's hyperstructure and earn individual points for me and therefore thus for my tribe. So whilst it's going up, actually there's sort of like there may well be a rush for everyone to throw their resources at this hyperstructure so that they can claim some points in the early game. Then once it's up, then the distribution of the ongoing points, the perpetual points that hyperstructure is creating, go to the people that decide. Whoever was the person who put it up, I believe, decides, right, 20% to Cumberlord, 50% to Calc, whoever is the contributors and who's part of that tribe, and it keeps then perpetually giving out these victory points. But it can be contested, so it becomes much like any of the other realms, a threatening place where we could see big wars and battles. And especially if you see tribes and individuals start to pull away, you can definitely expect that people are going to, assemble righteous armies to put a play on those hyperstructures and try and take them over.
And what about mines? Where are mines located in the game?
So I actually don't know this, Cal. Maybe if it's randomized, like how where the mines spawn. But essentially they're distributed in and amongst the whole map, in between where you spawn. So that's the purpose of say that realm right in the center there is a realm, and then above it, exactly, there is a fragment mine. So the fragment mines
are fighting. They are fighting for in this battle. They are fighting for the mine.
They're not fighting against another player currently. The fragment mines are protected by bandits. So actually, the number of bandits that are protecting a mine, as well as the number of ancient fragments that can be mined from it, are both random. So you don't know exactly how many you're going to be able to extract from it, and only once you discover it and you hover over it do you know quite how many bandits are actually protecting it. So there's again a sort of decision that has to be made. Well, how big an army do I need to put together in order to be able to comfortably take over this mine? Is it going to be worth it? There's some luck involved. I'll only know once I take it over how many fragment mines are going to get it. It might only be 100,000, and you need 3 million, I believe, to start a hyperstructure. So the interplay of like the decision making on where to put your resources is and some luck. This could play into it.
Absolutely. That luck is always needed in game. And so bandits, you were mentioning that like bandits are players, right? Or they no, okay, they are sort of in-game asset. Sorry, in-game how do you say in gaming that? I would say AI players, right? So
to an extent, but I guess just that. No, it's not all numbers at that point, isn't it? Because the battle mechanics are all just based on numbers. So it's just a certain amount of armies of bandits exist within there, and I just need to have enough that I can overwhelm them and take it over. Like they won't add to their armies. The battle mechanics, if I go into war with another player or another tribe, is the battles last for such periods of time that they can send reinforcements. Calc could come and join in, so a battle between players could go on forever.
Sure. You can create during the battle. You can create an economy of war, right? That you focus. Exactly. You focus in order to gather resources to win the war.
Exactly, and it won't be that way with the mines. It's just, this is how many it is, and that's what it's going to take for me. Unless it becomes contested by another player who decides actually they want to come and fight on the bandit side, which I haven't seen yet, which would definitely be interesting.
That has been done before. Someone did down test. I think it was Crumpy actually did down test. Now I'm pretty sure reinforced the bandits. I'm sure it was someone like him. But,
that legendary mercenary.
And also for those of you guys who are watching and need some help in playing Eternum, remember that there is also a Lordpedia window here, and it will help you finding any information you need to progress in the game. Also, I've been studying it for the past days. It's very well written, very informative and very easy to grasp. So whenever you have some problems and doubt, just head to the Lordpedia window and you will get some help. And I don't know, guys, if you would like to add something else on the game, like so for the time being, you said that it's still early to see which tribe are winning or are ahead, or are very, very early. When do you think we'll be able to see, that there are some tribes which are more ahead of other ones? Like 2 weeks?
Sooner. I think it'll become pretty evident pretty quickly. I don't know what you Calc.
Yeah, days probably, and we'll start seeing some form of leader, or at least people starting to show a hand, because at some point, they're going to have a ton of resources and stuff to spend.
And how long will the season last, in your own view?
Well, that's like the fun thing, because this is like the keys are off. This is a true autonomous game. I think maybe Autonomous World is maybe too far, but like the way the game ends is someone accrues enough victory points to call a function on chain. When they call that is totally up to them. They could just not call it and try and accrue more points, and try and just decimate absolutely everyone, and then just take everything maybe. That seems very tricky, because also someone else might get enough victory points to then call it first. But yeah, we've don't know. The last season on testnet, I think was 3 weeks, or just under. But like that's the fun thing about mainnet, because this has all got value attached. You really don't know. Maybe people might drag this out way longer. Maybe people will be even more concise and more efficient, and just like destroy it in like a week or two. I doubt it'll be a week, but that's the cool thing. We really don't know. No one knows like what's gonna happen. No
Yeah.
one knows what people are gonna do. It's great. So yeah,
Yeah, also
maybe a few
because I
weeks.
guess that, yeah, and also seeing that there is, we are on mainnet, so there is a real money being spent. So it will
Yeah.
also depend on how much money people are investing on the game, right?
Yeah. If people think like every single lot they've got into this game, maybe they can get themselves further ahead than everyone. But even then, you're going to be burning so many lords. Like you're going to have such a big target on your head that everyone else in the game who is essentially building up resources at pretty much the same rate as you anyway is going to go, well, we're just going to take all your stuff. Like, bye bye.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How does
it's going to be interesting.
the pillage and the battles work?
It's relatively straightforward. So I would check in the docs for the precise numbers, but essentially each unit has a number attached, and it's essentially a game of like rock paper scissors. Essentially, you have more number, he has less number, you probably win. But that's I think the real interplay isn't necessarily that component. It's the fact that people can add more or less units to the play. So most tribes, everyone's pretty much in a tribe, right? So they're in a big group of people. And if someone's taken a really high impact realm, say a Wonder or like a Dragonhide realm, which are these really high value realms, a guild will not want someone to take that, but everyone will want to take that. So someone might, just have the edge on a battle, and it'll last a long duration of time. Someone's going to come in and be like, no, I'm adding some troops to our side. You ain't taking that because that's too much of an advantage. And it's just going to be that social interplay. I think it's realistically just a super social strategy game. So yeah.
Yeah, and
summarize.
there's also a window. Yeah, there are some words in the background, and we're talking about battles. Yeah, I like also the war drums here.
Does get you going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like we're all getting to live out our dream through this game. So
there's also like another sound is this one.
Why would you not want to fight for what you believe in? Why would you not want to fight for what you believe in? Why would you not?
Yeah, and I think that's
majestic.
And yeah, I was saying that there is this window where you can simulate both battles and pillages, right? Which is this one. And so obviously, if you're attacking another realms, another army, you will need on average more soldiers to win, right?
Yes, you will. Yeah, correct. The actual combat mechanism isn't that complicated. As I say, I think the real benefit or like value of it is like the kind of like poker game that you're playing with the opponent of like, I might go and buy a load of units if I want this, and then I'm gonna crush you, or maybe I'm just gonna fold, let you have it. It doesn't matter. It's really like a call and bluff type situation. You can start a fight with like any amount of units. If you throw in one unit, the battle's going to last 2 seconds. They're just going to chop his head off, and the game's over. But if you put in a relatively small amount of units, even an amount that will lose, you can still put them in and slowly, add in and like have this little meta play of like, is he gonna try and kill me? And then maybe you'll get that person to pull in more units from their other realms, distracting them, and then you go kill their other realm. You really don't know. It's all that like social mechanic for me, which makes it interesting.
Also because during the battle you can add soldiers, right?
Yeah.
So No?
Yeah, if someone overcommits and then puts way too many soldiers to defend it, then all their other realms now doesn't have any soldiers. And then maybe that person just goes and takes the other realms, and the more soldiers that are in a fight, the longer the battle happens. So, someone overcommits, then you're just going to go off and go, well, you've been a bozo there, mate. I'm going to go take your other realms, and you can sit on that for 3 days. Have fun.
So, what happened, for example, when my RAM got captured? I
Mhm.
won't be able to play the game anymore.
Correct.
It's
I see.
transferred.
They win.
It's transferred to the other person,
Until
along with all your
until the season.
resources, all of your lords, everything that's in that realm at that time. But
I see.
I don't know if I didn't hear it, or if it was mentioned. But if you attack a realm, assuming that you have at least a certain low number of defensive army, I believe it's an 8-hour siege period. So this is like before the battle actually begins. And during that time, let's say if I decide, well, I don't want to take on this battle, actually, I'm going to give it to them. You then have that time to extract as many resources as you can, transfer them to other realms, move some of you, distribute some of your military across different armies, because your armies as well will become allied to their new leader. So if you had three attacking armies as part of that realm, but they're off exploring or fighting other battles, and then the defensive army loses, as soon as a defensive army loses, those armies belong to and are allied to their new lord.
I see.
So yeah, it's a beautifully complex game, and you can see that many years of work has been put into the gameplay and the mechanics of this, so that it's not just a game for everyone to get involved and think is cool. It's a game for the seasons.
How many realms do you think you should start playing with? For example, I only have one, so I'd better get another couple, right?
You're probably best to recommend. I would say a couple. I mean, it depends if you have a realm with multiple resources. So if you have stone, wood, stone, wood, coal, or something like that, you can really get the flywheel going of production on your realm really early. And maybe you only want to dedicate that much time. Then you're set with a realm like that. You're good. You can just play in a game, create your resources, build up your realm, have fun. Great. If you want to no life this, it's probably worth getting a few more. I think if you're going past 5 realms, you are spending a good chunk of time here. If you're going past 10, you are no life in this game. So yeah, I think a couple is more than manageable for I don't know, a short amount of time per day, very easily.
Definitely, I would say 2 to 3 is a good dynamic to have to also get to see the interplay of transferring armies across, military across, how you can have your own self-sustaining production within certain things. I think and totally manageable on a couple of hours, distributed across the day. The game can be as complex as you want it and time consuming as you want or have to give to it, I would say. So like we said with the many metas, it depends how you want to play this game. It's enjoyable in each meta and each way. So yeah, I'd say if you're out there and you want to come and get involved for the first time, reach out to the Lords of Realms, Eternum, etc., through the socials, into the Discord, and someone will hold your hand initially. Make sure you get a game pass, and as you show more and more interest in wanting to do more, for sure it will all open up to you. And some of us still have realms that we don't know what to do with, because we can't there's a sort of upper limit to the management. So interested players will be welcomed with open arms. And brought into the
Can you transfer a realm which has already been settled to another person? No,
these are unsettled ones currently. They're still season passes. The way that I think you would go about that is I would like remove all a defensive army and allow the person to basically occupy and take it over in a non-aggressive way, and then they would become the lord of that realm. So I could do it that way if I was trying to strategically position the realms and give them to players later on. Could.
Very cool. And speaking about realms, I just wanted to see how many comments we got, because unfortunately we didn't get any song, any poem about the game. But yeah, we're gonna reward Sister Spaghetti, the Alpha, Thomas, and Lord Balbaz, which is who are like
the bulb.
so who are getting each one realm. And I think one will be left over, which is the one sponsored by me, and I think I will be using it.
Nice.
Good.
I guess. And I will be giving away the ones sponsored by Loot Realms and by Blob Arena. And so when Blob Arena on mainnet, Cumberlo?
You'll have to ask Lord Grug for that. I think they've been those guys are another team working absolutely tirelessly to make a fully on-chain game as seamless as possible and open to a market like completely outside of this. I would love to share, but there is some great news that Grug should be the one to share about moving into the next year, which I think will mean that there's a very bright future ahead for Blob Arena and potential to onboard some significant numbers from outside of our space in the next year. So watch this space for Blob Arena, and big up the lair.
Stay tuned, guys, for Blob Arena, and for also the next seasons of Eternum will be very exciting, I guess. Provided this one will not last 1 year or something like that. Let's see.
We'll see.
It's gonna. Our families are all gonna hate us over Christmas. There's gonna be some serious dramas.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Our wives and fiancés are gonna complain about our gameplay, and yeah. Anyway, guys, as we approach the end of this special Star Cafe about Eternum, first of all, I would love to thank our listeners and our audience for coming. We are also producing an edited version of this live, which is gonna be published, I guess, next week. I'm gonna work a bit on that, and obviously. Thanks a lot to Camberlord and Kakutat for taking some of their very precious time away from gameplay and to dedicate it to us. Thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us. We always have time for the Star. You're the best.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, man.
Thanks
Honored and grateful, and I was look forward to fighting with you and the Fox Boys. For Eternum.
Let's finish it as we began it. Let's finish it as we began it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
And I went to Eternum, and my donkeys abandoned. I went to the battlefield, and that's where I met me match. Lit him up and burnt his hair. That's the donkey patch.
Great, guys. Take care.
Awesome.
Enjoy your play. Take care.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
you.
Great to see you. Thank you so much, Nusta. Ciao.
Pleasure. Ciao.